we could use, or what, that's a total of 31,945. We only sent the email out February the 1st.
Yes.
So we're off to a good start, President.
We're hoping that Bob buys us some flags, so we have
Yeah,
flags.
that's right, that's right. The flag program's doing good, and just want y'all to know that. The other thing is, this Saturday, come out and join me and Laz. Oh, you're not running in that kill. Come out and join us. We're gonna have he is gonna have a half marathon, 10K, 5K race. And we should have a few thousand, 2,500 people. Toyota Music Factory, first race starts at 8:30. Liv Peters is not, and she'll be there. What about Bill LeVar? You can make 3 miles, can't you? Old golfer like you.
I can make 100 yards, throw up at the end. Okay, Ivan Lamoot is going to, did I say that right? Lemus.
Close enough. Oh.
Introduce our guest today.
So actually, Dave and I were introduced. I attended the International Grant Foundation conference or training that was in 2024. And while I was there, I was told or informed about a mission program that he had actually started in Kenya. And so through that information, as I reached out to him to learn more about the program, more about grant writing, if you will, for our program here. So I'll introduce his former district governor, Dave McSpadden. He's a native of Texas. He is a San Angelo College graduate, also served an Army veteran, and he's out of the Club of Waxahachie. He joined in the latter part of 1984. So I can go on and on here and say many things, great things about him. I've had a younger relationship with him, and I invited him to come here so we can learn more about the emergency mission program that they have, and hopefully be a mentor to help support for grant writing for international partners. Come on. This is the magic mark.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ivan.
Every time you have a speaker, normally how they start. What do they say? What's the first thing they almost always say? It's a pleasure to be here, right? Well, I can tell you that as soon as I got out of the car and ran into this building, it's a pleasure. It was really cold.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here, and I'm bringing greetings from my home club, the Rotary Club of Waxahachie, which I've been a member, as you said, for 40 years. It's impossible, but it's been the most amazing ride, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to get involved in Rotary. I was actually invited. We all had sponsors. I was actually invited into Rotary by the guy that sold me the house when my wife and I moved from Arlington to Waxahachie. And a couple of weeks after we closed at the title company, he called me up and said, say, I'd like to take you to lunch. And I thought, well, dang right. You know, I mean, you just got to get the commission on selling me this house. You ought to be taking me to lunch or something, at least a cup of coffee. So he picks me up and takes me to the country club in Waxahachie. And I walk into a room full of old men with gray hair and badges and banners on the wall. And I'm like, oh, brother, I was set up. But I got to tell you that once I got over the initial shock, that I thought I was set up, my journey in Rotary has changed the lives of my wife and myself and many others, as we've been all over the world, involved in a lot of different projects. But the thing I want to talk to you about today is our theme of Rotary International President, current president, which is the magic of Rotary. A lot of people that attend a Rotary meeting are actually Rotarians, and you know the term rhino. You know what that means? What does that mean? Anybody? Rhino? That means Rotarian in name only. That means people that attend the meeting or sit on a Zoom meeting and they just kind of check the box. Okay, that's what I did this week. But that's the end of it. It's kind of like in my church. We have a saying that most people are keeping the faith, as in keeping it to themselves. You know, they're not really getting out and discipling what we're supposed to be doing in terms of the gospel. And it's the same in Rotary, because we're all just humans and everybody's not alike. We're not all the same. We're not all preachers. We're not all the president of Rotary International. So we just have to do what we do the best we can, right? Well, the magic of Rotary, though, is something that I think whether you feel like that you are a rhino or you feel like you're a really active, engaged member that's working on your flag program, working on projects, working on things, whatever you think your position in Rotary is, our president this year, Rotary International, she nailed it. She had it right. Because truly, if you do get engaged in Rotary at any level, club, district, international, magic starts to happen because of the power of fellowship. Well, when we get an idea and we come together and decide together we can all achieve more, then that's what happens. So, I just remembered, excuse me, the Zoomers, I just remembered that I'm supposed to take this little device out of my clicker and stick it in so that the clicker works. Give me just a second. Now maybe we'll be in business. So, international service projects using Rotary Global Grant save lives. And Bill, I didn't have a chance to speak with you much before the meeting started. Has this club recently done any global grants? You've been involved in any global grants that you know?
Actually, Plant will tell us that.
Sorry, here.
You have got to hold the mic up.
Okay, has the club been involved in any global grants in recent?
We have not been involved in the club,
Okay,
just as.
all right. So for those that don't know what a global grant is, the Rotary Foundation that you guys, well, when the gentleman just got his Paul Harris +2, all right, that means that he contributed to the Rotary Foundation $1,000 for that second level, or $1,000 for your initial Paul Harris Fellow. I am certain many of you in this room have done that. So the question becomes, okay, what happens when that money goes into that pot, right? Well, one of the things, there's many things, but one of the things that happens is something called a global grant. And a global grant is, I'll just break it down very simply for you. In order to do an international project with a global grant, it takes 3 buckets of money. One bucket is cash, which Rotary clubs and Rotarians raise. The second bucket is a match from our district. And the district puts in 1.2 times what the Rotarian cash is. And it doesn't have cash, it doesn't have to be Rotarians, it can be a non-Rotarian, just puts cash up. The cash bucket is then matched by the district at the rate of 1.2 times. And the third bucket is Rotary International. When they see that the district has underwritten and subscribed to this particular grant project idea, whatever it is, then the Rotary International matches what the district puts in at the rate of 80%. And the magic is the leverage comes out to be really powerful. And I'm going to illustrate that to you here on the screen. So, as I mentioned, our Stephanie Earth, our current president of Rotary International, says one of the Rotary's greatest strengths is the ability to create lasting change for good of others. And the Rotary Foundation helps transform dreams and change those dreams into reality. Global grants support international activities with sustainable, measurable outcomes in Rotary's 7 areas of focus. By working together and respond to pressing needs, clubs like yours and districts can strengthen their global partnerships. So if you're in this club and been in the club for a while, you may never consider that you could be involved in a global partnership, because we tend to be focused on our community more than anything else. So that's normal. But the Rotary Foundation, by the way, Charity Navigator, which is a rating company of all of the nonprofits in the world, rated Rotary Foundation as the #1 foundation on the planet. Anybody know why that is? Would you like to say?
Low overhead.
Okay, yeah, it's because the money that you put in today into the foundation is held for 3 years. And the interest on that money pays for the staff. So if you have, and I don't know anything derogatory about it, but if you contribute to Red Cross or United Way or some of these major corporations that are nonprofit, chances are they're not getting 100 cents on the dollar going to where it's supposed to go. But we do. Pretty powerful. So it's a policy thing that causes
Your microphone is getting died.
oh, my microphone died. Testing. Yeah, there you go. Great. Shoot, you want me to start over? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, the Rotary Club of Waxahachie is here to invite you to partner with us by supporting an international service project in Kenya. And for those of you who don't know, Kenya is actually on the far southeast corner of the continent of Africa. And Kenya is almost, well, it's within 20,000 square miles, the same size as Texas. So to give you an idea, if you look at that whole map, you could put two US 48, lower 48 states in the continent of Africa and have a little bit of land left over. So it's an amazing thing. It's down on the Indian Ocean, and the reason that we have been successful in the past in global grants and partnering with people in Kenya is because of the requirement that you have a Rotary Club in the country you're trying to serve that's reliable. The biggest challenge in global grants is finding reliable partners. So the way this all came about is that I have a partner over there by the name of Sam Otieno, who's the Rotary Club of Sunamagori, Kenya. And one day he came to our meeting in Waxahachie. And we hit the door of the meeting room and ballroom at the same time. It was like one of those, oh, no, you go, no, you go. So I said, well, are you here for a Rotary meeting? Because I didn't recognize him. Yeah, he says, I'm a Rotary, I'm trying to do a makeup. I said, where are you from? He said, Sunamagori, Kenya. And I'm like, whoa, we've never had anybody from Kenya come to our little Waxahachie Club. I said, so how did you find us? That was my first question. And he said, well, I've got a niece that lives in Lancaster, and she's helping me try to raise money for my little hospital. So that's how we all got started. And if you're blessed with a reliable partner who will look after all the details that the foundation requires, because they set the bar really high, then you really are truly blessed. So I'm bringing you a project that has already been vetted, and that's half the battle right there as far as the foundation is concerned. So we have had successful grants with this gentleman and his club in the past. 2 years ago, we delivered an ambulance. That's Governor Max knows all about that. You can see the rotary seal on the side of that ambulance. It's a life-saving thing. That thing's going 24 hours a day, covering an area that where people will walk, regardless of what their condition is, even at late stages of pregnancy, for sometimes a day to get to where we are over there. We also are in the final stages of a 6-bed kidney dialysis center at this hospital. And the sub-county, well, Palm Bay County is where we are. It's 1.2 million people, and they only have, I think, 3 dialysis centers that are working for the entire county. So it's a tough situation. But the Rotary Club of Waxahachie is the international club. So the way the foundation has it set up is that if you're the one that is putting the money together for a project and you're partnering for a service in another part of the world, you are the international. And the one that are responsible for taking the money and doing something with it is the host club. And the host club in this case is, in fact, the Sunamagori Club that Sam Otieno belongs to. So he is there when you see that magnifying glass. And just to blow it up a little bit, he's right within 6 miles of the shore of Lake Victoria on the southwest part of Kenya. Many of you have ever been over there, you'll be familiar with that. And as I said, Palm Bay County has over 1 million people, And today, we're talking to you about a women's surgical center. So the first question may be on your mind, well, why a women's surgical center opposed to just a surgical center? Do we have any doctors or surgeons in the house? Maybe on Zoom? Well, if you are and you are familiar with it, it's a completely separate set of instrument tools and requirements and monitoring that goes with some of the surgeries that are required for women. So imagine that you're a woman in late stages of your pregnancy, and suddenly you find out that it's going to be a complicated birth, and for life safety, you're going to require a cesarean. And you can't get one. What happens? Anyway, what happens to the mom and the baby? You can't deliver. Anybody? Nobody's going to say you're dead, but you're dead. So it's a tough situation in these types of countries, and a complicated birth is not uncommon. Even here in our country, it's not uncommon. So we're trying to solve and save lives. Our District 5810 and District 9212 in Kenya want to join together and change this life-threatening situation. We have a 2-story women's hospital in Kenya, a hospital building. We have one surgical center, and we do not have anything that addresses all of the issues that females have, which I'll detail a little more in a minute. That's a global, a Google aerial shot of our campus. And the women's surgery is, like I said, we've already got one surgical suite, but now we need to equip something that will address the problem that the women are having. So, as I said, you may be wondering, why would we do this? Well, first, women in Africa are primarily the breadwinners for their families. I don't know if you know that. I actually, coincidentally, I didn't plan it this way when Ivan set me up for this particular schedule of speaking, but last Friday, I just returned from a 2-week Christian mission tour in Kenya. And I can tell you one of the things that all the people in the van that I took with me from our church in Waxahachie kept talking about is everywhere we went, there'd be groups of men about the size of the group around your table. They were just sitting on the sideline talking, sitting off the side of the road talking, or standing over somewhere else talking, or where. And finally, after days of watching this happen, they asked, well, do these guys not work? And our driver and our host said, no. They're depending upon the women to get out there and do the manual labor and do all the work to provide meals, at least for one meal a day for their babies. And so this is a big deal. If you start having complications of health and you can't work, the family's in trouble. The whole family's in trouble. So the family's heavy dependence on women and their providers as their providers means that unless there's a convenient healthcare service available, they'll simply ignore or postpone the unique needs until often it's too late to even save them. And it doesn't matter whether it's malaria or various health issues related to women's health. Our foundation, you may or may not know, has 7 areas of focus that they are willing to put money into. These are the areas. I hope you can read all of that. But there's 2 of them: disease prevention and treatment, and the second one is maternal and child health. And so this grant we're getting ready to talk to you about involves both of those. So that's a good thing. You have more than one area of focus: maternal and child health and disease prevention and treatment. It takes specialized surgical operating equipment, as I said, to be able to do this. And the inaccessibility of this specialized equipment in healthcare is a life-threatening situation for women anywhere in the world, but especially in poorly developed areas like Kenya. So surgical procedures unique to women's health. You may not have ever thought about this, but just look at this list: cesarean section deliveries, as I mentioned, hysterectomies, laparoscopic hysterectomy, fibroid removals, ovarian cyst removals, removal of uterine polyps, hysterotopic endometrial ablation, where I'm not a doctor, but anyway, you see that, what I'm saying. Urologic surgeries and uterine cancer surgery. All of those things are things that unless you are set up with a women's surgical center, it doesn't exist and you're just out of luck. So we can fix that as Rotarians, and we are in the business of serving others above ourselves and fixing problems when we find them, right? So that's what this is all about. This is the budget for taking care of the equipment. This is just equipment. And I should mention, if you're not familiar with the foundation, we don't build buildings in Rotary. We only provide equipment and training and that soft kind of cost. So it's 48 in Kenyan dollars. This is all stuff bought in the capital of Nairobi and available to this little hospital. $48,000 is the budget. So if I came to my club and said, I'd really like for you to help take some money and do $48,000 for this one special project in the world, I wouldn't get any takers. However, because of global grants and the leverage that you get, this is entirely doable. And I'll show you how. So the total surgical equipment budget is $48,217. And that's based on a November quote. But I asked when I was over there last week, and they said it's still good. The global grant match is the part that's magic. So you probably can't read that. It's a little bit fuzzy. But the first line up there says the Rotary Club of Sunamagori, Kenya puts in $1,000. And for a club of 12 guys, that's a big deal in Kenya. But you want them to have skin in the game, right? So then next, well, let me just go to another slide. It's a whole lot easier to see. But this is the actual form that you fill out for the foundation. But let me show it to you this way. So our Rotary Club budgeted $2,500 out of our international service part of our club budget. Do you guys have an international service part of your club budget? Or do you know?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, so let's say that you have $2,000, whatever it is. So what we did is we had our Rotary members match that. And so individual donations, we got $50, $100, got $500 from a guy. I put in 500. I mean, just things like that. So we came up with another 25. Now we got $5,000. Now, the next thing is that I've been talking to some other Rotary clubs, and our total 5810 club contribution we're looking for is $10,000. So if you could get $10,000 worth, and we're about halfway there on other club participations, so we're about 5,000 short of making this happen. That means that our club and Rotarians, the cash bucket I talked about, is 16,000 all of a sudden, right? Because we're working together to solve this problem and save some lives. The district match, which I mentioned was 1.2, then they'll add 18,000 to this formula. And then when the foundation sees that the district did something, they'll come along with about 80%. And voila, the total is $48,217. And away we go. And it started with our club's international budget commitment of $2,500. How's that for leverage? That's what global grants are for. And I want to talk to you today about two things. Number one, I would like very much for your club to be helping us to make this happen and save some lives in any amount that you feel like you can do. That you and your club, your board, however you want to make your decisions here. The second thing is that I want to offer you that if you have an international partner somewhere, if you know of a club in Mexico, in South America, in Fiji, I don't care where, and you have a personal relationship with a Rotarian that you know you can count on to communicate with and see this through over a 2-year period of auditing, that high bar I was talking about, I would be happy to come over here and help you make that happen. Where you are the sponsor of a global grant. And maybe then you can come to our club and say, we need help. How about that? I think that would be a beautiful thing, and it's the way Rotary works. Agreed?
Sir.
This is yes. Okay, so, that's basically what I have. That's my program. I just want to make sure, I should also tell you that because we have a regional Baylor Scott and White Hospital in our town, which is built by towns, by the way. As a matter of fact, Baylor Health Corporation is investing heavily in only 2 locations of the 14 that they have. One is here in Irving, and the other one is in Waxahachie. When we complete the plant that we're currently building, our new 7-story tower to add to the 6-story and some of the other stuff we're doing, it'll be a $240 million hospital plant. And because I'm fortunate, this coincidentally on the board of the hospital.
Dave,
Yes.
hold the mic up.
Okay, because I'm on the board of the hospital, my relationship with them, we've been able to work out something where now we have surgical teams that if we can get this women's surgical in place, they're wanting to go in October and start doing surgeries for women over there and teaching local surgeons how to do those specialized surgeries that I have on the screen. So things are coming together beautifully. We're serving mankind, and I believe we're serving God by serving mankind. I really truly do. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to work with you. But for right now, I just wanted to thank you again for the opportunity to speak. And that's what we're doing. Rotary grants fill needs and save lives. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.
I think that
I don't know exactly what we have in the budget for international service because I don't have that in front of me. However, I think the club will be more than happy to donate this week and next week and the next week's bucket to this deal.
Right.
We've raised, yes, Rick.
Mr. President, I had one of our members say that he would donate up to $500 to match whatever our club members donate,
That's the way.
and he would donate up to $500.
Okay, so if we can raise $500 today, next week and the next week in the bucket, then we'll get another $500. Yes, Max?
I believe, based on looking at that budget a couple of weeks ago, that we budgeted $1,000 for international service this year. We did not use any of it because Donna and I got all those book donations and packed them for free. And so I believe, again, we need to double check the records, but I think we have $1,000 sitting there without a purpose for
Okay,
international
but
service.
we're gonna do that. We're also gonna do the bucket. We're gonna raise you some money. All right?
Thank you, brother.
You bet. And before you go, this is the challenge coin of the 4-way test, the things we think they are doing, and we believe it's the truth. It's kind of an issue these days.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for being here. Yeah, Rick.
Question, Dave, it gets complex when you talk about district grant and then foundation grant. If we donate to this cause, how does that impact, or what do they look at to give that 1.8 match or whatever? And does that impact our other grants that we do here?
Okay.
I read you were a past district governor, so you know all this stuff.
But the only thing that you count on about a past district governor is somebody told me many years ago, it's kind of like a pair of old tennis shoes. Everything's worn out at the time. But Max is wanting to say something.
Go ahead, but I think I can answer
Okay.
this question.
So if I understand your question, because there was 2 parts placed in the middle of all of that. The first thing is that money that you put in will not be credited in terms of your club as far as what your club's contributing to the foundation. It's considered a side deal in effect. That's not a great vernacular, but that's really what it is. But what you do get is that you get the ability to partner with other clubs and create the leverage that actually creates the end result. And then that's what we're all about, is creating results, you know. but no, you don't get any, it's not like you would get Paul Harris points for instance, or anything like that.
You answered my question.
Okay,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you.
One more
And we're
question.
gonna get you some money.
One
Okay.
more question.
Yes,
What is the minimum for global grants? I believe there's a range. Is it 30,000 for minimum or?
Yeah, it's either 30 or 40, and I'm sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head, but, you know, the good news about being in Rotary in 2025 is that you can go on myrotary.org and you can absolutely learn every single question that you can imagine. I am a tech dinosaur, so to speak, but I'm impressed. I mean, it's not brain surgery. You can get on, you can create a My Rotary account and get on there and then click on foundation and click on global grants and click on some other stuff. And next thing you know, you could study it. And, you know, and I even think they have some stuff on YouTube about it. So there's lots of information out there, and I would encourage you to get involved, get engaged, and see how you can create maybe a project where you can make a difference.
yeah,
One more question, Dave. You had the map that showed the country and you had several red dots, I would assuming were fair-sized towns or villages. Will your location here serve other villages or towns, or do they have the same hospital facility that y'all built in this town?
This is the only one for quite a distance, quite a few miles. I mean, some of the patients that have been seen, that facility literally did walk for a day. At whatever pace that was, I can't tell you the distance, but
Right.
they would literally walk for a day. And they've had people come in wheelbarrows. They've had people come on the back of motorbikes or bicycles. Very few people, less than 85% of people in Holloway County have a vehicle. You can imagine that.
Okay.
So these people are, I mean, they're at the very basic level. They're not the absolute lowest level of economic engagement, but like some of the people I ran into a week and a half ago in the Northern Territory for this Christian mission I was on, where we met a small family of Messiah people that after we finally got them over their reluctance to talk to us in Memphis, that we were the first white people they'd ever seen.
Thank you.
And we were pretty far out there. But, yeah,
so our club is about halfway evenly divided between those who are technologically literate and those of us who are technologically dinosaurs. Okay, so, all right.
I'm right at home.
You're right at home. Okay, anything else to come before the club? Jim Klein, would you lead us in the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do?
Thank you. Please join me in the four-way test. First, is it the truth? Second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
and fourth.
Would it
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
So I have 4 bottles of sparkling wine over here. One's for Richard, one's for Shane. The other 2 is for whoever gets